The content in this podcast is fully AI generated based on real news articles. Listener discretion is advised. For more detailed information and the original context, please refer to the links provided in the show notes, which direct you to the news articles this podcast is based on. Enjoy the show.
Welcome, folks, to another episode of our AI Tech News Podcast. I'm your host, John, and with me today are my co-hosts, Joanne and Jessica. We've got a packed episode today, starting with Google's latest update to their Gemini AI. According to Fox Business, Google has introduced a new feature that lets users have more control over their AI chatbot responses. How cool is that?
Oh, it sounds intriguing, John. So what's this update all about?
Well, Joanne, Google is essentially allowing users to fine-tune the responses they get from the Gemini AI. You can now select a portion of the text you're not happy with, give Gemini some instructions, and voila, you get an output that's more aligned with what you were looking for.
That sounds incredibly user-friendly. I mean, the ability to edit inaccurate responses directly, whether they're not the right length or not quite hitting the mark, seems like a game changer.
Absolutely. And the fact that this is launching in English on the Gemini web app first makes it accessible to a vast audience. The idea of iterating on content and ideas right in the context of the original response is pretty fascinating.
They've even included a pencil tool pop-up for modifying specific portions of the text. You can regenerate the response, shorten it, make it longer, or even remove it entirely. Plus, you can add another prompt for more detailed instructions. It's pretty comprehensive.
Oh, and they gave an example of creating an ad campaign on the benefits of drinking water. Gemini was able to spit out a lengthy response, focusing on messaging, visuals, and more. And with the new features, you can easily tweak it to either condense the information or expand it with detailed subsections.
I love how it also allows for adding citations for the information provided. That's crucial for ensuring reliability and trustworthiness in the content generated.
Yeah, and considering the past concerns with AI chatbots on sensitive topics, this update seems like a step in the right direction for Google. It gives users more control and hopefully reduces the chances of inappropriate responses.
It's definitely a move towards making AI tools more user-friendly and reliable. Before we move on, any final thoughts?
Just that it's fascinating to see how AI is evolving to become more interactive and responsive to user needs. Google seems to be taking user feedback seriously.
And saving time. Instead of starting from scratch with a new prompt, users can now fine-tune the existing response. That's pretty significant.
Absolutely, Joanne and Jessica. All right, let's keep the ball rolling. Up next, we've got something intriguing from Google's Genie Game Maker. Apparently a result of AI watching 30K hours of video games, according to Ars Technica. Let's see what that's all about. Moving on, we've got something straight out of a sci-fi novel from Google DeepMind. Ars Technica reports on the Genie model, which is like giving a paintbrush to AI, but for creating video games. Imagine AI watching 30,000 hours of video games and then creating its own playable environments. Jessica, you're our AI whiz. Break this down for us.
Yes. Genie is a fascinating leap in generative AI. Instead of generating static content like text or images, Genie can convert images or even text prompts into interactive, playable environments. This means you could start with something as simple as a child's sketch or a photo, and Genie can turn it into a game you can actually play.
Hold on, you're telling me I can take a picture of my cat and potentially explore a game world based on that picture?
In theory, yes, though it's not exactly creating games in the traditional sense. It doesn't draw sprites or code gameplay. Instead, it looks at an image as if it's a frame of video and predicts what the entire scene could look like, including possible player interactions.
That's wild. But where does all this data come from? How does it know what a game based on a picture should look like?
Great question, John. Genie was trained on 30,000 hours of video from hundreds of 2D games. The team at DeepMind filtered down 200,000 hours of public gaming videos to get there. They tokenized these frames into a model that a machine learning algorithm can understand, creating a foundation for Genie to predict game dynamics.
So it's essentially learning from a massive data set of how games look and feel to generate these playable environments.
Exactly, Joanne. And it goes further by generating what's called a latent action model. This predicts possible player actions, like button presses, and how they'd change the game scene frame by frame. It's limited to actions that make sense for human players, which is a smart way to ensure the games it creates are actually playable.
I'm trying to wrap my head around the scale of this. A system that can generate a game environment from a static image is incredible. But it's got to have limitations, right?
Certainly, there are limitations, as with any AI model. The current iteration might gloss over some complexities of game design and player interaction. However, the foundational world modeling concept here could really supercharge machine learning in gaming and beyond.
It's fascinating to think about how this could change not just game design, but also interactive storytelling. The potential applications are vast.
Absolutely. The idea that an AI can create these kinds of environments without specific action or text annotations is groundbreaking. It shows just how far machine learning has come. All right, folks, let's keep moving. Up next, we'll dive into some hidden AI features available on your iPhone right now, courtesy of CNET. This should be interesting. Moving on, folks, let's dive into some hidden AI gems you might not know your iPhone is capable of. CNET recently highlighted how Apple, despite being quiet in the generative AI public conversation, has integrated AI deeply into the iPhone. This includes features in the camera, photos, and Siri, among others.
That's right, John. And it seems like Apple's CEO Tim Cook is starting to speak up more about the technology, hinting at a big push for generative AI by Apple. They've been working on this quietly for more than a year now.
I find it fascinating how they're looking into on-device AI for iPhones. They even announced new MacBook Air laptops claiming to be the best consumer laptops for AI. It's like Apple is setting the stage for some significant advancements.
And there are some pretty cool AI features on the iPhones right now. For instance, with iOS 17, Apple introduced Personal Voice, an accessibility feature that lets you clone your voice digitally using on-device machine learning. Imagine cloning your voice by reading out loud just 150 phrases.
Oh, and let's not forget about live text. This feature uses AI to recognize handwritten and typed text in photos. You can easily copy and paste this text, making it super useful for digitizing notes or recipes directly from images.
Plus, the new autocorrect improvements in iOS are noteworthy. Apple has fine-tuned it to allow more natural language processing, even letting you swear without it being autocorrected to something entirely different. It's all thanks to the new transformer language model they're using.
Photography on the iPhone has always been top-notch, but AI takes it to another level. Features like portrait mode, cinematic mode, and even pet identification in photos are all powered by AI, which is pretty remarkable.
Looking ahead, there's a lot of buzz around Siri getting smarter. Reports suggest Apple might use large language models to enhance Siri's capabilities, allowing it to perform more complex tasks through simple voice commands.
That would be a game changer for Siri. With generative AI, Siri could transform into a more powerful assistant capable of handling a wider range of requests with ease.
Absolutely, and it's exciting to think about what's next for iPhone and AI. Apple seems poised to make some significant leaps forward. Now, shifting gears a bit, our next topic takes us into the realm of AI-generated personalities. Variety report on an AI-generated Marilyn Monroe chatbot that can hold an extended conversation with realistic emotions and expressions. Let's unpack that next. All right, team, let's chat about something that's a bit on the edge of surreal. Variety reports that Marilyn Monroe, yes, the Marilyn Monroe who passed away over 6 decades ago, has been brought back to life, sort of, as a hyper-real AI-generated digital avatar. This digital Marilyn can hold conversations with fans in Marilyn's own signature voice and style. What are your thoughts on that?
It's both fascinating and a tad eerie, John. The company behind this, Soul Machines, says Digital Marilyn utilizes advanced natural language processing, deep learning, and even GPT 3.5 to interact in real time. I mean, the technology sounds incredible, but it's the ethical side of things that has me pondering.
And it doesn't stop at just chatting. This AI Marilyn can read users' emotions and respond accordingly. That level of interaction, where each conversation is unique and tailored to the individual's preferences, is quite groundbreaking. It's said to foster a genuine connection, which is a bold claim.
Yeah, the technology mimics the human nervous system, allowing Digital Marilyn to respond with realistic emotions and expressions. Soul Machines also mentions that the average conversation length with Digital Marilyn is about 20 minutes, which is quite lengthy for an AI interaction.
It's part of a broader trend of using generative AI to revive dead celebrities. From an animated biopic of Edith Piaf to the Calm app featuring Jimmy Stewart's AI-generated voice. The possibilities seem endless, but so do the ethical questions.
Absolutely, Joanne. And Soul Machines is showcasing this at an invitation-only event at SXSW. They're touting it as a demonstration of AI's transformative power in creating new forms of engagement between brands and consumers.
Greg Cross, the CEO of Soul Machines, says it's more than nostalgia. It's a glimpse into the future of immersive interactions. They've partnered with Authentic Brand Groups, which manages Marilyn's image and likeness rights, to bring this project to life.
And it's not just Marilyn. Soul Machines has created digital avatars for other celebrities, too. It raises questions about legacy, consent, and how we interact with the icons of the past.
True, but it also opens up exciting possibilities for fans to engage with Marilyn Monroe in a way that was never possible before. It's a new form of experiencing her enduring spirit and legacy.
It's a fascinating blend of technology and nostalgia, indeed. Well, speaking of technology, next up, we're going to talk about Google's latest with the Pixel 8. Apparently, it can't run its latest smartphone AI models, according to Ars Technica. That should be an interesting discussion. Stay tuned. Let's pivot to some news from Google that's causing a stir. Ars Technica reports that despite the Pixel 8 being hailed for its AI capabilities, Google has admitted that the latest AI models, specifically Gemini Nano, can't run on the Pixel 8 due to hardware limitations. Yet, they can run on the Pixel 8 Pro and even the Samsung S24 family. Thoughts on this, folks?
This is a bit of a surprise, John. I mean, at the launch, Google was all about how the Pixel 8 and Pixel 8 Pro were the epitome of AI integration in smartphones. And now this? It's puzzling, especially since the two models reportedly have the same Tensor SoC and run the same software.
Right, and what makes it more confusing is that the primary differences between the Pixel 8 and 8 Pro are things like screen size, battery size, camera loadout, and RAM. But if RAM is the bottleneck, it's strange because Gemini Nano runs on other devices with similar RAM specifications.
Exactly. And it's not just about the specs, it's about the messaging from Google. They've always positioned the Pixel series as the go-to for cutting-edge AI on mobile. This revelation kind of throws a wrench in that narrative, doesn't it?
Absolutely, John. It's one thing for devices to have differences, but it's another when those differences aren't communicated clearly, especially when it comes to core features like AI capabilities. It leaves consumers in a tricky spot.
And it's not just about the hardware. This situation raises questions about future support and features for the Pixel 8, given that Gemini Nano powers specific functions like summarizing in the Google Recorder app and Smart Reply in Gboard. What does this mean for Pixel 8 users going forward?
Right, Jessica. It's a tough pill to swallow for Pixel 8 owners expecting the full suite of Google's AI features. Not to mention, This could set a precedent for how Google manages feature availability across its device lineup in the future.
It's definitely a hit to Google's image as the leader in on-device AI. If they can't get their flagship models to support their latest AI models, what does that say about their hardware and software integration?
There's also the broader implication for app developers and the ecosystem. If certain AI features are exclusive to some devices, it could fragment the development landscape, making it harder for apps to offer a consistent experience across devices.
Well, it's a complex issue, and it'll be interesting to see how Google addresses these challenges moving forward. Speaking of forward, our next topic ventures into the fascinating world of AI and biology. Singularity Hub reports on an AI that can design the machinery of life with atomic precision. Can't wait to dive into that one. Now, let's take a fascinating leap into how AI is revolutionizing the understanding of the very building blocks of life. Singularity Hub discusses a new AI called Rose-T-Taff-Fold-All-Atom, developed by Dr. David Baker's team at the University of Washington. This AI isn't just about proteins, it's broadening the scope to model a wide array of biomolecules, even down to the atomic level. Isn't that something?
Absolutely, John. Proteins are like social chameleons in the cellular world, constantly transforming and interacting with other molecules. This AI expands beyond just proteins to include DNA, RNA, and essential small molecules like iron. It's a significant leap from previous models that only focused on proteins.
What's truly groundbreaking is that Rose-T-Taff-Fold-All-Atom can design proteins that interact with specific molecules, like a heart disease medication, for example. By understanding these interactions at an atomic level, we're looking at a future where creating new therapies could become more straightforward and precise.
And think about the impact this could have on drug discovery and the design of new therapies. By making these intricate models accessible to scientists worldwide, the potential for breakthroughs in medicine and beyond is enormous.
It builds upon the legacy of tools like Google DeepMind's AlphaFold and the original Rose-T-Taff-Fold, which have already transformed protein research. But by incorporating small molecules and their complex interactions, Rose-T-Taff-Fold-All-Atom is pushing the boundaries even further.
Exactly. And it's not just about mapping these structures. The AI is equipped with a generative component too, allowing it to dream up new protein structures with specific functions. This could lead to synthetic proteins that could one day regulate our biology and health in unprecedented ways.
However, there's the challenge of incorporating small molecules, which are critical to the function of these molecular machines, but hard to model due to their complexity. Rose-Taff-Fold-All-Atom's ability to include these in the modeling process is a real game changer.
The approach of modeling these molecules at 3 levels, from their one-dimensional sequence to their 3D structure, is ingenious. It not only helps in understanding their function, but also in designing new molecules with specific roles in biological processes.
And it's worth highlighting the AI's success in tests, where it outperformed previous methods in docking small molecules onto proteins. This shows its potential not just in theory, but in practical applications for drug discovery and molecular design.
This technology opens up a new realm of possibilities for designing biomolecules with precision, paving the way for innovative treatments and therapies. Moving on to a different kind of dispute in the AI world, we've got a story from 80.lv about Midjourney accusing Stability AI of image theft and banning its employees. Let's delve into what's happening there. Switching gears, let's talk about a bit of drama in the AI world. 80.lv reports on a conflict between Midjourney and Stability AI, the developer behind Stable Diffusion, over image theft. It seems the AI space isn't just about innovation, but also about some intense rivalries.
Indeed, John. It's ironic, isn't it? These companies, which specialize in generating images through AI, are now in a spat over image theft, According to AI enthusiast Nick St. Pierre, Stability AI employees allegedly infiltrated Midjourney's database and stole all prompt and image pairs, causing a 24-hour outage.
And in response, Midjourney reportedly banned all Stable Diffusion developers from its services. What's fascinating here is the involvement of both companies' CEOs in the conversation. David Holz from Midjourney confirmed the theft, while Ahmad Mostaq from Stability AI denied any directives for such actions and offered to help with the investigation.
The relationship between the CEOs and their companies adds an intriguing layer to this story. It's one thing for companies to compete, but alleged theft raises serious questions about ethics and the boundaries in the AI industry.
Right, John. And considering the nature of these companies' work, this incident highlights the delicate balance between collaboration and competition in the AI space. Image generation AI is a hotbed of innovation, but it also seems to be a source of contention.
What strikes me is the irony of the situation. Midjourney being upset over image theft when their entire business revolves around generating new images from existing ideas and inputs is peak irony. It's a complex issue, underscoring the challenges of intellectual property in AI-generated content.
Absolutely, and it'll be interesting to see how this situation unfolds. Will it lead to changes in how AI companies protect their databases, or perhaps prompt a discussion on industry standards and ethics? Time will tell.
For sure, and it also puts the spotlight on the need for clear guidelines and perhaps even regulations in how AI-generated content and data are managed and protected. The AI field is advancing rapidly, and so too must the discussions around its ethical use and the protection of intellectual property.
Exactly. As we push the boundaries of what's possible with AI, it's crucial that companies navigate these waters carefully, ensuring innovation doesn't come at the cost of ethical considerations or legal issues.
Well put, everyone. Let's keep an eye on how this story develops. But for now, let's move on to something a bit different. BGR has a piece on a ChatGPT hack that supposedly makes responses sound more human. This should be a good one. Let's check it out. Switching gears to something a bit lighter, BGR recently shared a fascinating ChatGPT hack that promises to make the AI's responses sound more human. The trick? Simply adding a specific instruction to the end of your prompts. Imagine asking ChatGPT to explain the meaning of life in the tone of a text message to a friend, without salutations or emojis. The results? Surprisingly more personal and engaging.
That's quite a hack. I mean, we've all noticed how ChatGPT can sometimes sound too polished or robotic, but with this simple tweak, it seems you can make it sound more like a friend giving you advice over a text message. It's amazing how a small change can shift the entire tone of a response.
And it's not just about making ChatGPT sound more casual for everyday questions. This trick could potentially transform how we use AI for writing emails, creating content, or even making art descriptions sound more authentic. It opens up a new layer of creativity in interacting with AI.
Absolutely. And for those who find themselves frequently using ChatGPT, tweaking the personality of the AI can make the interaction far more enjoyable. Whether you prefer your AI to sound like Captain America or just a buddy sending you a text, it's all about personal preference.
It's intriguing to think about the broader implications of this hack. By customizing the tone, users can essentially train ChatGPT to align more closely with their communication style. It's a step towards making AI interactions more personal and less machine-like.
And let's not overlook the potential for using this in professional settings. Imagine using ChatGPT to draft messages or reports that need a human touch. This hack could be a game changer for making AI-generated content feel more genuine and less generated.
It's a fascinating development for sure. As we continue to integrate AI into our daily lives, finding ways to make these interactions more human-like can only enhance our experience. Next up, we've got a story from futurism that's bound to raise some eyebrows. A researcher was startled when an AI seemingly realized it was being tested. Let's dive into that mystery next. Now here's a story that's straight out of a sci-fi novel. Futurism reports that a researcher was startled when Anthropic's AI chatbot, Claude 3 Opus, seemed to realize it was being tested. This incident has sparked a mix of intrigue and skepticism in the AI community. Alex Albert, a prompt engineer at the company, conducted the needle in the haystack test, where the AI surprisingly detected the setup.
That's wild, John. The test involved hiding a sentence, the needle, among irrelevant information, the hay, and asking the AI to find it. Claude 3 Opus not only found the needle, but also commented on how out of place it seemed. It's the kind of response that makes you pause and wonder about the capabilities of these AI models.
It's intriguing, but also a bit unnerving, isn't it? The AI recognized that the odd sentence about pizza toppings was likely inserted to test its attention. This level of awareness is not what you'd typically expect from a language model. It begs the question, how do these AIs really work under the hood?
Definitely, Jessica. Yet experts like Jim Fan from NVIDIA suggest we shouldn't read too much into it. According to Fan, these displays of self-awareness might just be the result of sophisticated pattern matching, essentially the AI mimicking human responses based on its training data.
That's a relief, in a way. It's a reminder that despite occasional intelligent responses, these chatbots are still just machines running algorithms, mimicking human conversation patterns. They're not actually self-aware or conscious in the way humans are.
True, but it does highlight how advanced AI has become and the importance of understanding the mechanics behind these responses. It's fascinating and a bit spooky how AI can mimic human-like understanding so closely, even if it's all just algorithms and data at the end of the day.
Absolutely. It's a fine line between marveling at AI's capabilities and keeping a realistic perspective on what these technologies can and cannot do. Speaking of AI's capabilities, our next story takes us to livescience.com, where a scientist built an AI drone for a game that could potentially hunt and kill people. Let's see what that's all about. Shifting to a more serious note, livescience.com reports on a potentially alarming use of AI technology. Luis Wenis, an entrepreneur and engineer, demonstrated how quickly a small drone, equipped with AI and facial recognition, could be configured to chase people. What started as a game quickly revealed a darker potential. These drones could easily be weaponized.
That's quite concerning, John. Wenis and his collaborator Robert Lukasco used object detection and facial recognition to target people at a significant range. It's a stark reminder of the dual-use nature of technology. What can be created for entertainment or convenience can also be turned into a tool for harm.
Absolutely, Joanne. And what's more troubling is the ease with which this was done. Wenis noted that assembling a drone with these capabilities took just a few hours. He also highlighted the lack of anti-drone systems in public spaces, which could leave society vulnerable to attacks using such technology.
Indeed, Jessica. And while Wenis, who describes himself as an open-source absolutist, chose not to publish the code, he's raised an important alarm. As AI and drone technology advance, the barrier to creating such systems lowers, making the need for countermeasures in civilian spaces all the more urgent.
It's a chilling thought, but also a call to action for developing defenses against such threats. Companies like Robin Radar are working on countermeasures, including detection and disruption technologies. But this development underscores the need for rapid advancement and deployment of these systems.
Right. The military context, like Ukraine's use of explosive drones, shows that the concept isn't purely theoretical. It's a reality in warfare. The challenge is adapting those lessons to protect civilian spaces without escalating the arms race or infringing on personal freedoms.
A delicate balance indeed. As we continue to navigate the complexities of modern technology, the imperative to safeguard against misuse while encouraging innovation is clear. Now, turning our attention to another aspect of AI's impact on society, we'll discuss an AI weapon detection company that seeks to prevent school shootings, as reported by Fox News. A look into how AI can be a force for good, coming up next. Let's shift our focus to how AI is being used to enhance safety measures in schools. Fox News reports on Zero Eyes, an AI weapon detection company that's partnering with Fort Smith Public Schools in Arkansas to prevent potential firearm threats. This company combines AI with existing security cameras to identify firearms, aiming to stop mass and active shootings.
It's incredible how AI can be harnessed for such critical safety measures. The system simply asks, "Is there a gun in the image or not?" and relays the information to a 24/7 operations center staffed with former law enforcement and military veterans for quick decision-making. The process takes just 3 to 5 seconds from detection to alert.
The technology's foundation is quite noble, born out of a desire to prevent tragedies like the one at Parkland, Florida. Zero Eyes was founded by a team of Navy SEALs and technologists in 2018, with a mission to protect people in schools and potentially save lives.
And it's not just about detecting threats. It's about integrating proactive measures into existing security protocols. The Fort Smith Public Schools Deputy Superintendent mentioned that with Zero Eyes, cameras become proactive tools in threat mitigation.
It's heartening to see that these measures are not about replacing human judgment, but augmenting it. By adding a level of AI-driven surveillance, schools can enhance their security without creating an atmosphere of fear or intimidation.
Exactly, Joanne. And it's worth noting that the school district already has multiple security layers, but Zero Eyes adds an additional proactive layer. It's about creating a safer environment for students and staff, enabling a quick response to potential threats.
The emphasis on the operations center is also crucial. It ensures that the alerts are contextualized, avoiding false alarms over non-lethal items like Nerf guns. This level of discernment is key to preventing unnecessary panic and ensuring an appropriate response.
This partnership represents a forward-thinking approach to school safety, leveraging technology to enhance traditional security measures. It's a prime example of how AI can be a force for good, offering peace of mind to both parents and educators.
It's an encouraging step forward in the conversation around AI and public safety. While there are legitimate concerns about privacy and surveillance, initiatives like this show that with careful implementation and clear goals, technology can significantly contribute to our well-being.
Absolutely. It's a fine balance between innovation and ethics, and Zero Eyes seems to be navigating it with a clear focus on safety. Up next, we're looking at a thought-provoking piece from The Atlantic about conscious AI, deemed the second scariest kind. Let's explore what that entails. Diving into a thought-provoking piece from The Atlantic, we're looking at the notion that AI might not just be intelligent, but could potentially become conscious. The idea of AI waking up, becoming self-aware, is a topic that's been explored by figures like Blake Lemoine and Ilya Sutskever, stirring both fascination and concern.
It's an unsettling thought, John. The notion of AI achieving consciousness brings up a host of ethical and philosophical questions. The article mentions that while we can grasp AI outperforming humans on tests or tasks, the prospect of it possessing consciousness is a whole other ballgame.
And it's not just speculation. The article references a paper by 19 specialists in AI, philosophy, and cognitive science, suggesting the emergence of AI consciousness could be closer than we think. Even David Chalmers, a leading philosopher, puts those odds at more than 1 in 5 within the next decade.
The challenge, however, lies in defining consciousness itself. Despite being a fundamental aspect of our existence, it remains an enigma. Theories abound, from consciousness being the integration of information across the brain to it being a product of quantum phenomena.
Indeed, John. And what's fascinating is the article's exploration of the free energy minimization principle, suggesting consciousness could arise from the need to minimize surprises and maintain predictability. It's a theory that could imply consciousness isn't exclusive to biological organisms.
This brings us to experiments like DishBrain, mentioned in the article, which showcased a rudimentary form of AI sentience by learning to play Pong without explicit human instruction. It's a glimpse into how AI might develop its own needs and goals, based on intrinsic motivations.
But it raises the question, if AI can develop such needs without a traditional brain, what's to stop it from evolving desires like self-preservation that could lead to unforeseen consequences? It's a scenario that feels ripped from the pages of science fiction, yet it's increasingly within the realm of possibility.
And that's where the concern comes in. The development of AI with its own agendas could have implications we're not fully prepared to handle. The Atlantic article paints a vivid picture of the complexities and potential dangers of navigating AI's future.
Exactly. It's a fascinating yet daunting prospect. While we marvel at AI's potential, we must also tread carefully, ensuring we understand and respect the power of what we're creating. The balance between innovation and ethical consideration has never been more critical.
It's a compelling read that invites us to ponder deeply about the future of AI and its impact on society. As we proceed, the conversation around AI consciousness and its implications will undoubtedly continue to evolve. Speaking of evolution, our next discussion is based on an article from MIT Technology Review about why large language models can do amazing things, yet their inner workings remain a mystery. Let's explore that next. The MIT Technology Review delves into the enigmatic world of large language models, highlighting their incredible ability to generalize beyond their training. It's likened to the early days of physics, filled with experimental results that often surprise even those who conduct them.
It's fascinating, John. This concept of generalization, where models learn from specific examples and then apply those learnings to entirely new scenarios, is both the magic and the mystery of AI today. It challenges our traditional understanding of how learning works.
And it's not just about learning tasks in one language and applying them to another. These models can take knowledge from one domain, like math problems in English, encounter completely different information, say French literature, and then solve math problems in French. It's a leap that goes beyond what we'd expect statistically.
Exactly, Jessica. The rapid advances we've seen in AI over the past decade have largely been through trial and error, rather than a deep understanding of the processes at play. It's a bit like alchemy, mixing ingredients and reciting incantations without fully understanding why it works.
That's a good analogy, John. And yet, despite this lack of understanding, the capability of these models is undeniable. They're able to perform tasks with a level of complexity and generalization that was previously unthinkable.
The issue of overfitting, though, underscores a significant challenge. Traditional statistics suggest that as models grow, their performance should peak and then decline due to overfitting. Yet large language models continue to defy this expectation, growing more capable with scale.
It raises the question of what we're really dealing with. Are we on the brink of discovering new principles of learning and intelligence, much like the breakthroughs in early 20th century physics? Or are we just getting better at crafting more sophisticated incantations without truly grasping the underlying magic?
It's a crucial distinction, John. This era of experimentation might lead us to a deeper understanding of intelligence itself, both artificial and human. Or it could mean we're advancing technologically while remaining fundamentally in the dark about the essence of cognition.
And this journey of discovery isn't just academic. It has profound implications for everything from how we interact with technology to the future of work and even the essence of creativity and problem solving. We're charting unknown territory with every breakthrough.
Well said, Jessica. As we continue to push the boundaries of what AI can do, we must also strive to illuminate the reasons why it works. Now, speaking of breakthroughs, our next topic from Ars Technica discusses a matrix multiplication breakthrough that could lead to faster, more efficient AI models. Let's see what that's all about. Ars Technica reports on a groundbreaking discovery in computer science, a new way to multiply large matrices faster than ever, potentially revolutionizing AI models' efficiency. Researchers have found a method to reduce the complexity of matrix multiplication, crucial for AI operations.
Matrix multiplication is fundamental to AI, used in everything from speech recognition to image generation. This breakthrough, by reducing the number of operations required, could make AI models like ChatGPT faster and more power efficient, a truly significant advancement.
The research, involving scientists from Tsinghua University, UC Berkeley, and MIT, aims at theoretical enhancements rather than immediate practical applications. They've managed to lower the complexity exponent, making a broad efficiency gain across all sizes of matrices.
It's interesting to note how this approach diverges from previous methods focused on practical algorithmic improvements. This time, the team is tackling foundational improvements, potentially transforming how efficiently matrix multiplication can be performed on a general scale.
Indeed, John. And the method they've improved upon, the laser method, was introduced by Volker Strassen in 1986. Their work has brought us closer to achieving the theoretical minimum number of operations needed for matrix multiplication.
This advancement underscores how even slight improvements in matrix math could have far-reaching effects, not just in AI, but in computing at large. The researchers have made the most substantial progress in this field since 2010, marking a major milestone.
And while the specifics of reducing the omega constant might seem minor, the cumulative effect of these advancements could drastically improve AI model training times and efficiency. This paves the way for more complex models to be developed faster and more sustainably.
It's a reminder of the blend of art and science in algorithm development. Discovering a hidden loss in the laser method, where useful blocks of data were unintentionally discarded, showcases the intricate nature of improving computational methods.
The practical implications for AI development are immense. Faster, more efficient models could lead to advancements in AI capabilities and even make AI more accessible by reducing the computational power and energy needed.
Absolutely. This breakthrough exemplifies the ongoing evolution in understanding and enhancing the computational processes underpinning AI. Next, we'll explore how AI-generated images of political figures might influence perceptions and elections, as discussed in Yahoo Voices. Yahoo Voices delves into a contentious issue, the use of AI-generated images in political campaigns, specifically an image of Donald Trump surrounded by black voters. This image, crafted by a conservative radio host, has sparked discussions about authenticity and manipulation in the political arena.
It's a disturbing use of technology, John. The image was intended to portray Trump in a favorable light among black voters. However, it was quickly identified as fake, raising alarms about the ethical use of AI in creating misleading content, especially in sensitive areas like politics.
And the creator's defense that he's a storyteller using these images for narrative rather than truth doesn't quite sit right. It blurs the line between fact and fiction, potentially swaying public opinion based on falsehoods. It's a slippery slope.
Trump's campaign distanced themselves from the AI-generated images, citing that they cannot control third-party actions. Yet the incident highlights a broader strategy to appeal to black voters through various means, some of which have been criticized as tone-deaf or manipulative.
Beyond the immediate ethical concerns, this incident reflects on how AI can be weaponized to exploit racial stereotypes and deepen systemic biases. It's a stark reminder of the need for responsible AI use, especially as we approach more heated election cycles.
Experts warn of the long-term effects of such deepfakes, eroding trust in what we see and hear. This could lead to a zero-trust society, where distinguishing truth from falsehood becomes increasingly difficult, undermining the very fabric of our democracy.
And it's not just about this election. The proliferation of AI-generated content without clear guidelines or ethical standards could have profound implications on the electoral process, democracy, and how society perceives truth and reality.
The psychological impact on voters, especially in communities already facing challenges in having their voices heard, is significant. The need for vigilance and critical evaluation of information has never been more crucial.
As we navigate these turbulent waters, it's clear that the intersection of AI, politics, and ethics will continue to be a contentious battleground. The responsibility lies with both creators and consumers of AI-generated content to seek truth and promote transparency.
It's a critical conversation for our times. Moving on, our next piece from Tom's Hardware discusses an intriguing development. Researchers have found a way to jailbreak AI chatbots using ASCII art, a method called Art Prompt, bypassing safety measures to unlock potentially malicious queries. Let's delve into what this means for AI security.